As I went jogging yesterday, something occurred to me. Bible says that as a man thinks, so is he. But there is such a thing as what God thinks of a man. Gideon, of course, thinks of himself as a weak man. But when he had an encounter, he was called a mighty man of valor. That is what God thinks of him. As a man thinks, so is he. So how should a man think? A man should think what God thinks of him. And how do you know what God thinks of you? Is to read scriptures. So there is such a thing as a man thinks, and there is such a thing as God thinks. So the only way a man is expected to think is how God thinks. The only way a man is expected to think of himself is how God thinks of him. So the only way to have a superior mindset, a superior thinking pattern, the only way to stand out as far as your thinking life is concerned is to think how God thinks, is to think of yourself what God thinks of you. Gideon thought of himself as a weak man, but God thinks of him as a mighty man of valor. One thing we must hope for is we quickly come across the things God thinks of us. We should quickly come across these patterns that would elevate our life, these thinking patterns that will change things around, that will turn things around. It's highly important. As God thinks, so I am. I want to think how God thinks of me. I want to see things how God sees them. That is the realm I want to work in. That is the realm you're expected to function in. In the end, I definitely know that by God's grace, I shall be great and you shall be great. Thank you. See you again.